The Kansas City Chiefs are Super Bowl champions once again with their second title in just 4 seasons. And while we'll have all offseason to discuss whether or not we should consider them a dynasty, I wanted to spend this moment in the afterglow of the title to discuss how a play called Corn Dog helped make it all possible. So, if you're anything like me, you clocked how KC's final 2 touchdowns looked like they came off nearly identical plays. Shotgun formation, near the goal line, where the X, or furthest wide receiver, starts his motion one way, then shoots back the other for a wide open pass. This is a play the Chiefs call Corn Dog, a name given simply because, as offensive coordinator Eric Bieniemy says, the Chiefs and their head coach Andy Reid like to eat. Which, side note, more plays should be named like this. I'm envisioning a Lions play called Angry Crying or a Dolphins play called Weed. Speaking to Peter King of Football Morning in America, Coach Reid expounded on the play, saying they'd actually run it once before in their Week 1 matchup against the Cardinals before dusting it off for the Super Bowl. Let's take a look at how that Week 1 iteration went. In a lot of ways, the Corn Dog play is essentially just an RPO with fancy window dressing. Mahomes' first option out of this formation is to hand it off to his running back on this side of the play, while on the other side is a pass play off the motion that Mahomes can check into depending on what he sees from the defense. Needless to say, Andy Reid trusts Mahomes to make the right read every time, and he does so on this Week 1 version of the play to Mecole Hardman against Arizona. In this instance, Mahomes sees cornerback Byron Murphy matched up on Hardman at the line, with safety Budda Baker cheating further over to the middle of the field. So, when Hardman goes in motion and Murphy follows, the far right side of the field opens up, and Mahomes knows he can dish it that way for an easy completion and yards after the catch opportunity. So why did Reid and the Chiefs decide to go with this Corn Dog play in the critical moments of the championship game? From my view, it looks like they had caught on to the quick switching that the Eagles' defense was doing when facing receiver motion while in man coverage, and then exploited it with this stunted motion concept. There were 2 plays in particular where Philadelphia showed their hand in how they would defend something like Corn Dog. The first instance came early in the 3rd quarter near the goal line. This play itself is very nearly a touchdown on its own, but let's focus in on how cornerback Avonte Maddox and safety CJ Gardner-Johnson communicate here when facing a more traditional motion route. Notice how when Skyy Moore begins his motion, Maddox starts to follow him, and how it sets off a chain reaction for Gardner-Johnson to follow in that same direction. You'll notice how Gardner-Johnson then focuses his attention on Moore throughout the rest of the play, while Maddox moves backward to fill in a sort of safety role in his place. The switching opens up the left side of the field, which KC still takes advantage of here, albeit with their running back running a flare rather than a flashy wide receiver motion. The second instance came just before the Kadarius Toney touchdown, which makes sense. The Chiefs double confirmed what they were seeing before dusting off the old Corn Dog recipe. Though this comes off a run play rather than a pass play, the schematics are a lot the same. The cornerback communicates with the safety to take the motion man across the formation, while he himself slots into a safety-like zone. Again, keep in mind how this opens up the side of the field the motion was coming from, and how in these first instances, the Kansas City player attacking that side of the field was coming from the opposite side and a few yards behind the line of scrimmage. Now let's take another look at the Toney touchdown coming off of the Corn Dog play. Even though it's Darius Slay as the cornerback instead of Maddox, we see the Eagles employ the same switching strategy right at the start of the motion. By the time Slay and Gardner-Johnson have agreed to the switch, Toney has already turned around and is headed back the same way. We've seen this same space get opened up on that side of the motion, and now it's being attacked even more viciously, because the player getting opened in that area is already on that side of the field, is closer to the line of scrimmage, and is making his cut right as his defenders are figuring out what to do with him. All that's left for Mahomes to do now is throw an easy pass and watch Toney walk this one in to tie the game. The Skyy Moore touchdown that followed a few minutes after also deserves some attention because it demonstrates a different tactic Philadelphia used in coverage. However, this strategy also failed to account for the wider side of the field from which the motion initiates. Here, we see how the 2 cornerbacks, Maddox and James Bradberry, communicate to pass off the motion at the start to keep the outermost CB on who will be the presumed X receiver at the snap. After the switch, Maddox hustles to keep up with Moore across the formation, but immediately loses him in the shuffle of the snap, and Moore uses this opportunity to turn back around while Bradberry follows his new assignment towards the middle and other side of the field. And again, With a perfect call to beat this defensive strategy, all that's left is for Mahomes to make the simple pass and his receiver to carefully make his way to the end zone. The Chiefs' decision to go with their corn dog play late in the Super Bowl is a microcosm of what's made them the dominant team over the last half-decade. Andy Reid, Eric Bieniemy, and Patrick Mahomes' ability to dissect defenses and maintain the confidence to employ creative concepts at the perfect time has kept them at the forefront of the league. And with the NFL famously being full of copycats, I think it's a near for sure thing that we'll start seeing a lot more of these stunted motion concepts starting next season as everyone attempts to keep pace with the Kansas City Brain Trust. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please do give it a like if you did enjoy it, and please consider subscribing to the channel so you can catch the next one. Thanks. Bye.